There are 185,000 amputations performed in this country every single year. That's not quite the combined populations of Bellevue, Fremont, Kearney, and Grand Island combined. It's 500 amputations every day. It's 21 amputations every hour. It's one amputation every 3.5 minutes. My amputation was in 2016. First day of spring, March 20th. It was an absolutely beautiful day. Beautiful first day of spring. Perfect day to hop on the motorcycle that I had just recently purchased and head to the grocery store for a packet of pomegranate seeds that seemed to make sense on a salad on the first day of spring. So I put on my leather jacket and I strap on my helmet and I find a tree-lined exit out of the neighborhood. So did a 16-year-old who didn't see me, turns his 2-ton car into my 10-pound leg. I managed to keep the bike up until I couldn't, hit the curb, flew 20 feet over the handlebars, landed on soft green grass between the street and the sidewalk. First paramedic on the scene orders that a tourniquet be placed tightly around my mangled left leg. He told me later that had that not happened, or had the emergency crew been delayed in traffic, I likely would have bled out in 3 minutes on that green grass between the street and the sidewalk. 3 minutes is about how long it takes you to unload the dishwasher. 3 minutes is about how long it takes you to fill your empty car with gas. Doctors gave me a 7% chance of surviving that motorcycle crash. But I did, thanks to 23 units of blood products from very generous blood donors at the Lincoln Community Blood Bank. Your body holds 11 units of blood. I needed 23 units of blood products. Came out of my coma on the second day in ICU, opened my eyes to see the shape of my legs under the bleached white, tucked tight sheets of my hospital bed. My beautiful wife is at the end of the bed. I look into that lovely face, and she's nodding her head. I've noticed that my left leg is shorter than my right. I looked down at that leg, and we began to cry. We cried hard. We cried necessary tears because we both knew we had work to do. And it started by calling the intensive care nurses into my room, and I said, "You have to find a way to get me out of this bed. I want to learn to walk. It's time to learn to walk, and I'm bored. So do what you can." And they brought in this device, a structured device that a patient steps into, and they safely then lean against some supports and they roll around the intensive care unit. What I didn't realize, no one realized, is that I'd also broken my left shoulder. So I limped it down to my side, put up one good arm and one good leg, and we hopped a lap around the intensive care unit. In ICU 3 days, in the hospital 11 days. 3 months after the crash, first day of spring to the first day of summer, I don't have a leg yet, but I'm back to work behind the microphone of KFOR. Fast forward some more to September. So from the first day of spring in March to early September, I'm ascending one of the 7 wonders of the world, Machu Picchu, in Peru, and other Inca ruins in Peru on a family trip that we had planned long before the crash. It was an amazing trip. It was a life-changing trip, an inspirational trip, so much so that when we got back to Lincoln, my wife Kimberly and I decided to contact the 16-year-old who hit me and his parents and asked if they would meet us at a coffee shop in South Lincoln. And they did. We got there early. We recognized them the moment they walked in, sat down at the table, and it was awkward. Because in my mind, I had conjured up this story. I'd fabricated this story of the young man who knew I was alive because I was in the news constantly, newspaper, television, radio. I had a TV crew in the hospital room while I was there. I had a couple of reporters over at the house for progress updates on my condition. So he knew I was alive. I couldn't have been more wrong. I thought maybe he was thinking of prom. School was going to be getting out in a couple of months. Thought his mind was there. But again, I couldn't be more wrong. The parents told us for every day I was in the hospital, there was a police car sitting in front of their house on the street with a police officer. And they found out the reason is because had I not survived that crash, their son would have been charged with a very serious crime. They also got rid of the car. The young man didn't go back to school right away, but when he did, he had a troubled time. He had a tough time. There was a pause in the conversation, and I leaned, looking at the young man, and I said, "You hit the right guy. You hit the right guy. I'm here. The only thing I lost was a leg. I'm back to work. I've traveled. You didn't do this on purpose. You didn't set out to do this. It was an accident. We forgive you. I forgive you." And those three words, you could tell, lifted the 6 months worth of guilt that they had, and it disappeared with those three words. I forgive you. I have three other words on the inside tattooed to my wrist. They say, do not settle. Those words came from a conversation I had with Bob Kerrey, former governor, former U.S. Senator, Navy SEAL, lost a portion of his lower limb in the Vietnam War. He said, the journey you're about to go on, there will be well-meaning people, well-intending people, prosthetists, physical therapists, that will imply that this is as good as your life's going to be. This is as good as your socket's going to fit. This is as good as your gait is going to be, your walk. This is as good as your life is going to be. But my wife and I, we do not settle. So 2025 has become the year of osseointegration. Osseointegration is osseo meaning bone, integration meaning stable, sturdy. And what you do, this replaces a socket system, and it's much easier than this, generally speaking. Yeah. That took me about 9 or 10 seconds. With the socket system, it takes 15 to 20 minutes before you can stand up and walk away. But I'm here tonight thanks to skilled surgeons, a wonderful wife of 21 years, good friends, both personally and professionally, and I'm back to riding motorcycles. Been to Sturgis a couple of times. You heard about Canada. Glad you're here, Dave. And I'm here because of three words. We do not settle. Thank you very much.